So we are here with the ever-famous Jeb Berrier, local legend.
Oh my goodness.
The lore
blushing?
behind this guy is unreal. I remember when I first met him, he was performing at the library for children and jumping around as part of what was that, the action?
Well, we used to do the Actions Tour, which were the little kid plays that we would go around the four corners and do at schools. Yeah. And we had Cosmic Calamity. We had Lost and Found. We were actually, ironically, looking for a lost duck.
A lost duck?
Yeah. And then we did the puppet
lost
shows.
Raspberry duck?
Not a raspberry duck. No. We weren't quite that cutting edge.
Yeah.
And then we did the Bear Awareness Week puppet shows.
Those were really fun, too, at the library. The kids would love it.
Hey, kids, a fed bear is a dead bear.
So watch out.
It's kind of morbid.
It's a little morbid, but I think they got that through their head. You know, they stopped giving out gummy bears.
That's right.
I guess that's sort of cannibalistic for a bear to eat a gummy bear anyway.
Bears don't care.
It's true.
Bear don't care. Don't feed the bears.
Don't feed the bears.
All right, shall we talk about what's happened since then?
Yeah. So, Jeb, you were here for many years, and then you moved up to Portland. So, what was that like? The transition and sort of, what's your story between Telluride and Portland?
Well, it was hard to leave Telluride, of course, but one of the members of our family, not me, got a real job in Portland. And so we went, and it's great. It's a nice town. We like living there. But my favorite 2 times of the year are when I get to come back to Telluride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our 2 favorite times of the year, too.
Oh, stop it.
When you get to come back to Telluride.
But yeah, I mean, really, like, it's a really nice little perk that I get to come back here and enjoy Telluride, sort of like a local, but kind of also like a tourist, if you will.
Yeah.
I get to hang out. I get to try the new restaurants, the Raspberry Duck.
Yeah, it's
the
very
man-made
fun.
Snow.
The man-made snow.
Which I've heard is exquisite.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, Jeb, when you lived here, you weren't just, we talked about the stuff at the library, but you were very involved in Shakespeare in the Park and many other theater endeavors. I feel like I saw you in multiple productions, generally dressed as a woman.
Often.
90 to 95%
My
of
milieu.
the time.
I moved here in 1991. Just a little brief background. I moved here sight unseen because one of the reasons that I picked Telluride was because I wanted to be somewhere that had an actual town and had actual theater, because I was an actor already. And so I kind of looked around and thought, well, Telluride, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably some culture there. And I got here, and the first night that I got to town, the Telluride Repertory Theater, which is now Telluride Theater, were putting on a play called True West by Sam Shepard. Cool. And as I drove up the valley, I had Kodo tuned in, and they were doing a promo for True West by Sam Shepard. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go to that. And it was at the Nugget. Cool. And Suzanne Barraza, Leo McNamara, and Glider Bob, rest in peace, were all in that show. And a guy named Mayan Levinson, who became a really good friend of mine. And it was directed by Dean Raleigh. And I watched that show, and I was like, I think I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from that, it was just great sort of being involved with local theater. We did a lot of, we did Shakespeare in the Park and plays. And then I moved to New York, and then I moved back.
Sucked you back in.
And then I moved away again, and I was in LA for a little while, and then I moved back.
The Telluride vortex.
And now I'm in Portland, and we'll see.
Move back. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
But the comedy festival, which I do now and I come back for now, is what kind of gets me that one of my Telluride fixes, once a year.
Absolutely. And what do we have to look forward to?
Oh my gosh.
At Comedy Fest, a little preview.
We've got, so a lot of the people that I have are guys that have come and women who have come since the beginning.
Cool.
I started working with the Opera House in 2004.
Wow.
And the first year, I got really lucky because a friend of mine was Rob Corddry, who was on The Daily Show.
Wow, yeah.
And he was like, sure, I'll come do that. That sounds fun. You've always talked about Telluride. So I got Rob, and I got Ed Helms because he was on The Daily Show. And said, oh, I like to snowboard. So immediately we had those guys, and then I got Brian Husky, Seth Morris, John Bowie, and Jamie Denbo. So I had 6 people the first year.
Yeah, all-star.
And since then, it's just been this thing where those core people, and then a couple years later, Jason Mantzoukas came,
Right.
who people would
Which
know
people
from the
freaked out
league,
about.
and everybody's career has just gone like this, and yet they still come back.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just this amazing thing that I think speaks volumes about, Telluride and how much they love coming here.
Right.
They don't have to come here.
Yeah.
And they love the Opera House, like the intimacy of the Opera House, and they love the town
Yeah.
and the weirdness of Telluride.
Yeah.
And they love everything about it. So
Awesome. Yeah, I've always loved it when I've gotten to attend. And Thursday is locals night, which is always super fun. Tickets are a little cheaper. If you haven't participated before, it's really something special to be a part of. I highly recommend, grabbing up tickets. Are there tickets even left?
well, there are tickets, as far as we know, Thursday and Saturday will be sold out.
Okay.
They are sold out. Friday is going to be a fantastic show.
Awesome.
It's going to be a whole mix, and we've got a couple new people. We've got Emily Heller, who's a stand-up comedian, who's really terrific, and a
Yeah.
guy named Steve Agee, who's another stand-up comedian, who's also hilarious.
Cool.
And so Friday's going to be a whole mix of things, some sketch, some character stuff, some stand-up, and some improv.
Cool.
And then Sunday, Jamie Denbo, who was here the first year, who was part of a group called Rona and Beverly, who've been here. She and her husband, John Bowie, are going to do their show called Super Married, which is the two of them who've been married for about 20 years,
Wow.
working out their marital issues on stage.
Sounds hilarious.
Yes.
And fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's 2 nights you can still get tickets to. And Jeb, thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us here today. And we'll catch you at the fest.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.